Going into this project, we were given the amazing opportunity from Intraware to use their virtual wall. Being such a new and advanced technology, we knew that having an opportunity like this is once in a lifetime, and we really wanted to take full advantage of it. So we thought we would test the limits of the wall, push some very aesthetically unique and diverse lighting. Starting off was a challenge because we had so many different ideas that we wanted to explore, cool lightings and environments that we wanted to send our character to. But after coming through all the ideas and seeing what was possible and what would have been overscoping, we landed on 4 locations that we thought we could have taken full advantage of the wall.
So with working with referencing and concepting was kind of interesting this time around because we were doing a real life, hyper-real kind of textures. So we had to look up, everything was referenced off of a literal object that we could find online or physically pick up. And we also had to do a bit of research to find out if certain materials were actually used during the time period we were trying to replicate, which was interesting to say the least. And then once we collected references, concepts were drawn up from that.
Yeah, I did a lot of concept art. I got the references that were already collected and formed them into a rough layout with concept art instead, as well as including the mood and environment we wanted for that specific scene. The concept art cut include like a Japan scene, an office, while the ones that stayed in were vastly changed, but except for the laboratory. But other than that, which was, I guess, at least we could reference off of real life. It had the most creative input, but the rest of them were fairly different.
In this project, I was in charge of the pipeline, so I made sure that we stuck to correct naming conventions and set it up so everyone would save their files in the correct positions and folder structure. I also did a lot of the modeling and texturing work and helped texture some assets that weren't textured but were modeled. So one of our initial plans was to use a mixture of Unreal and RenderMan. We were going to use RenderMan for foreground assets and then use Unreal for all our background assets. But we ended up deciding to make all the assets fit in one group. We just do everything in Unreal. But then at the end of the project, we realized there were some close-up things that we needed more advanced shading networks on. So we ended up going back into RenderMan to do some of the final close-ups in the end of our project.
I didn't think there'll be too many effects since we're using small environments, right? So I wouldn't be able to use a lot of explosions, fluid and whatnot. But there were some small effects such as sand, bubbles, generally very nitpicky stuff. But what was really challenging would be getting them to work with Unreal, since I had never used Unreal effects before with Houdini. I thought the wall was very daunting. It's very new technology that I've recently heard about on new series like Mandalorian. I know it's very expensive, and learning how to use it was very difficult, since understanding how the camera track works with Unreal seemed to not sync up for me in the beginning, but eventually I got to understand how it all meshed together and was able to work with it well.
As for animating the assets themselves, it was literally the same as animating for a regular CG film. It just got exported in a slightly different direction. It went, rather than going for a regular movie route, I exported it so that it could go down into Unreal. And from Unreal, we were able to shove it on the wall. That was the next step, and being able to see everything that we made standing behind an actor, it was really cool, and it was quite satisfying to see it all come together like that. To see the wall for the first time, it was breathtaking. I had never seen anything like that before. I hadn't seen the special features of Mandalorian or anything, so to see what will be gradually replacing green screen, which has been a primary part of the industry ever since Mary Poppins, is really, really cool. And to be able to say that I've worked on something like that so early in my career is very exciting to be able to talk to people about after explaining what an LED screen is.
Okay. So, what was your overall experience with working with the wall?
With the wall, really good actually. It was a different experience. I've worked briefly with a green screen, but actually having the environment, being able to see what's there as you're doing it, really helps with all the acting, and really helps you get into the world rather than just imagining it.
Were you concerned about anything before filming? Considering that we never actually specified that we were working with the wall.
Mostly, yeah, there was parts of it that I just didn't know what to expect, especially being a stage actor. Acting for screen is quite different. So just how to adapt and how to convey everything, because obviously there was no dialogue or anything, so just how to convey that, stuff you usually would convey with dialogue without it, with just, hey, here I am.
I mean, is there anything you want to say about the wall? Because this is very different to a green screen. Is there anything you want to comment on? Anything that you found exciting that really just made you stand out?
I'd say the main thing is seeing it, and then how it projects onto seeing it on screen as you're doing it. So yeah, I feel like when I worked with the green screen, you sort of saw the environment that they were working with, and then you just saw yourself in front of a green screen, which is actually quite boring. But then actually being able to live the scene as you're doing it, it's really cool.
And just for our sake, what scene was your favorite?
Which scene? The lab one. Definitely the lab. That was fun.